Does living the lifestyle of the rich and the famous applicable to everyone? That's a $1 billion question. And that's how you begin to differentiate from the average. Most people wants to increase or maximize their disposable income. And most people think that by getting into business, you will be able to live the lifestyle of the rich and the famous. While doing business is exciting and has tremendous possibilities, there's there's much to be learned about managing a successful business. For instance, to be able to manage a successful business, to start and manage a successful business, it requires leadership, it requires passion, and it requires innovation. I'm here today to inspire you and to let you know that you can become a business owner. But of course, my vision is not to just encourage and inspire and empower you to become just the next business owner. You want to become the business owner that will be able to set new trend and innovate new products and services and integrate those products and services into world trade. It's only by expanding the way you think and applying yourself beyond your perceived limitations that you will be able to embrace that great life that you know you have the potential to achieve. I'm only here to encourage you and cheer you on and to help you awaken the sleeping giant that you have within. Today, what I want us to talk about as you start to nurture your business ideas, many of you might be thinking about starting a business, or many of you might be in business, but you might be in business and you might be struggling a little bit in business. And I want to help you, I want to mentor you, I want to coach you, I want to support you to reach the next stage of your development in business. So, what I want to talk about today, I want to talk about an element of marketing that we call identifying your market opportunities and needs. And believe me, these are some of the basic things that you should be doing from the get-go of developing your business idea. You want to know who you're targeting with your products and services. You also want to know what are the market opportunities and what are the market needs. But to put yourself in that position to understand market opportunities and market needs, it means that you simply have to do what we call a SWOT analysis. And what do we mean by the SWOT analysis? You need to understand the strengths and the weaknesses and the opportunities and threats that lies in the market. And that's what I want to talk to you about today, because I know that this information will really help you to be more informed about business. It will help you to differentiate in the delivery of your products and services. And it will help you to identify best practices in integrating your products and services into the market from a standpoint where you can compete and win. Yes, you can compete and win. Now, when we talk about the SWOT analysis, let's look at the S, which is strength. In getting into business, one of the first things that you need to do is to identify who are the top 5 competitors in business. You want to know who they are because you want to study those 5 top competitors, and you want to know what their strengths are. You want to know the quality of products that they're delivering to their target market. You want to know their target markets. You want to know if their target markets are satisfied with the quality of products that they're providing. You want to know their strengths. You want to know everything that they should be known about the top 5 competitors in business. You need this information. You want to know all of their strengths. Now, your competitors may have strength in terms of the use of technology and productivity. They may have strengths in terms of qualified human capital in their marketing and sales department. They may have competent public relation managers, who can effectively get the information across to the final consumer to inspire the consumer to make a final decision, and that is to buy their products and services. You want to know what their strengths are. Now, one of the reasons that you want to know what their strengths are is because you want to first of all match those strengths if you get into the similar market. But you're not just settling with matching those strengths. You want to exceed where they're strong. You want to be able to deliver a better quality of products or services to the final consumer in a way that is more efficient, is more effective, and it's better. You want to be able to do this. So this is one of the reasons why we do the SWOT analysis, is to help you to understand the players in the market, at least the 5 top players in the market, and how you can position your organization to start to differentiate from how those giants are performing. So this is one of the reasons why we do the SWOT, and that's the S. So now we have the W, and that is for you to identify the weaknesses of the top 5 competitors in business. You're not the only person in business, and you need to invest in understanding who you're competing against, because the reality is that doing business is not necessarily the easiest thing. There are people who might pretend to be welcoming with you into business. They might pretend to be your friends. But believe me, when you understand business, we have a lot of cutthroats, we have a lot of stab in the back, we have a lot of undermining that takes place in the world of business. So you want to invest now to understand what are the weaknesses of your competitors. Yes, you might be able to see that while your competitors are excellent in terms of the quality of the products that they're offering, they might be excellent in terms of how the human capital within the organization performs in some areas. But guess what? They might be weak in quality customer care. You need to know this. And when we talk about quality customer care, we're talking about issues like before the sales services, during the sales services, and after sales services. And I can assure you of this is that many companies in the developing economy, developing world, don't apply all of these best practices in doing business. So you, in developing your business, you can make sure, one, that your before the sales services is one that appeals, is one that attracts, it calls attention, it attracts, and it pulls people in. And there are ways in which you can do that. And as we go into for the podcast, I will show you step-by-step approach that you can use to ensure that you have the healthiest CSR programs to take your organization to the next level of development. So we have the before the sales services. And before the sales services takes into consideration a whole host of different things. You want to make sure that the ambience of your organization is appealing to your specific demographic. Yeah, from the time the person sees your logo, your business design, it must speak to your specific demographic. But I would not go into the fine details of those things today. I just want to at least whet your appetite. There's something that we call during the sales services. And what exactly do we mean by during the sales services? You enter a business, you see a CSR, what happens then? You want to know that from the time your customer enter your organization, from the time your customer service representatives start to interface with that consumer, that you can make an impression. You want to be able to make a lasting impression on each and every one of your customers. And this is what we call creating a positive during the sale customer experience. And you can build a number of systems to achieve these objectives. That is precisely why global brand and marketing has been design. We want to be able to give you new information that will help you to achieve the competitive advantage in your business. During the sales services is one of the weaknesses that I want to show you that you will see in a lot of businesses. So one way in which you can differentiate is to adopt the best practices in during the sales services. And here is other one, after sales services. Most businesses in developing economies do not provide what we call a after sales services. The customer enter the business, the customer receive the goods or the services, and the customer leaves. There is no effort to build a lasting and quality relationships with the customer after the customer would have leave that location. You know, if you're building your brand and you want to build what we call a successful business, it's about creating systems that will help you to build customer for life. You want to be able to develop the customer relationship that lasts a lifetime. That is how successful businesses are built. And that is how you will be able to embrace that lifestyle of the rich and the famous. So I trust that you're taking notes as I give you this information here today. Now, the other part of the SWOT is the O, and that is opportunities. Yes, opportunities. What I've just spoke about as an opportunity, because once you see it as a weakness, once you see the 5 competitors, the 5 top competitors are not delivering these kind of services, it's an opportunity now for you to be able to design these programs and capitalize on it in providing what is considered to be the missing link of quality customer care, or doing business in the most effective and efficient way. So they always very, very important. You need to constantly keep looking for opportunities to differentiate, to diversify, and to integrate your content into business across the community, across the country, across the region, and across the world. As I keep saying, my focus is not to inspire you to do business at a small scale. Yes, you can start small and nothing wrong with that. But of course, my training is all about helping you to upscale in your ability to believe in yourself, upscale in your ability to apply yourself, and upscale in your ability to embrace success that most people can only dream of. The last one is what we call threat. Threat. In doing business, you need to constantly keep looking for the threat. As I keep saying, you are not the only player in business. And in a competitive world of business, your competition will always be doing the same thing that I'm telling you to do. And if they can do it better than you, believe me, that will pose a threat. Because your competitor wants your customer. Your competitor wants to deplete your chances of increasing your disposable income and embracing that lifestyle of the rich and the famous. And that's called doing business. Business is very aggressive. Business can become very cutthroat at some times. And you have to be prepared if you want to succeed in business. I'm not telling you to be cutthroat, but I'm telling you to be prepared, be aware, and be willing to take appropriate actions to ensure that you can stay one step ahead of the competition. I trust that you would have enjoyed today's podcast. My name is Gary Thompson. I'm a business development consultant by profession. I'm a humanitarian by nature, and I'm the author of the book Self-Application Best Practices. And just let me say what I have written the book Self-Application Best Practices, one, because it is one way in which I can differentiate myself from other consultants that we have in the Caribbean region. All right, it is one way technique that I have used to differentiate. In terms of the book, the techniques and the information that is used in the book, I'm the sole authority on that subject matter, and I want to assure that when you get this book and you start to apply the principles of this book into managing your business, you will see massive transformation start to take place in your life. While my book speaks about a lot of traditional management techniques, it only spent probably about 10% looking at the traditional, and it focused about 90% on the non-traditional approaches, which is very new. In my book, you will learn things about the human psychological anatomy. Most of us, we are familiar with the human physical anatomy, but we don't understand the human psychological anatomy. And in my book, we speak about this. Because what we are saying to you is that people excel in every area of their lives, or they function better in every area of their lives when they understand their purpose, their passion, and their gifts. And they're given the right support system to grow and excel in alignment with their true calling in life. Ladies and gentlemen, I must say it has been a pleasure being with you today, and I look forward to being with you in the next podcast. In the meanwhile, I want you to listen and re-listen this podcast, and I know that it will give you the kind of information that will set the tone for you to do better in business. And in the event that you need more information, I want you to call the numbers that is going to be displayed on this the podcast. I want you to email me, and I'm willing to come to your place of business and give you free training for a period of time, all right, until you could see the kind of transition that you want to see in your business. All right, so feel free to call me. I'm your friend, I'm your colleague, and one of my passion is to serve for the rest of my life, to ensure that I can help people to live better quality of life, and to help businesses to grow, and to help businesses to integrate into world trade. So you're talking to someone here who is very passionate to see you grow, and to see you develop, and to see you become the best brand of yourself in business. And this is not just me talking. I have written a book that clearly demonstrates that I'm committed to the process. And the books will be giving you tremendous techniques to take you to the next level of transformation in your life. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, my name is Gary Thompson. I'm a business development consultant. I'm a humanitarian by nature, and I'm the author of the book Self-Application Best Practices. Take care until we meet again.